Now, currently, Republicans and Democrats are working on a way to avoid a government shutdown. Now, a shutdown, of course, would be a disastrous idea. However, Republicans always seem to find a way to exploit tragedy in order to inflict the most pain on regular people in order to benefit corporations. And a study released on Tuesday by the Urban Institute found that proposed budget, the Trump budget, would reduce federal spending on education by 15%, children's health care spending by 10%, and spending on child-related nutrition by 9%. Now, remember, folks, we're Republicans, we're pro-life, except for when it comes to health care and nutrition. Because fuck children, right? You could take that literally if you're talking about Roy Moore as well. I'm just saying. Now, what's worse is, of course, why they're doing this. The cuts to funding for children's programs would help offset the estimated $1 trillion deficit the Trump tax plan would create. So not only are they cutting children's health care, education, and nutrition, but they're also using it to fund tax cuts for the rich. This is a literal transfer of wealth. Cutting these programs that go to the most vulnerable, the neediest people in America, and giving it to the least neediest people in America. But the ones who happen to sign their paychecks, of course. Now, the proposed budget, the budget proposed $140 billion in cuts to children's healthcare spending, and the majority of changes would be to Medicaid programs, specifically to health insurance coverage for low and moderate income children. So again, this cut is targeted to Medicaid that serves low-income children, the most vulnerable, and giving to the richest, right? Now, these projections don't include a potential repeal of the ACA or a funding cut to the Children's Health Insurance Program, meaning the possible monetary impact, according to the study, would actually be much higher. Hey, but guys, you don't understand. We need economic growth. We got to give more tax cuts to the rich. I mean, who cares about your kids' health care? They're poor anyway. No, if you wanted better health care, you should have been born rich, because then we would have shoveled all the money towards you. That's what the Republicans do. Now, there's more. Federal funding for education programs that serve in underprivileged children and special education programs would also face significant cuts. While the majority of education spending is funded at a local level, federal programs aim to upgrade schools, educate teachers, and supplement the cost of educating students with disabilities. Under the budget proposal, after-hours programs for students in high poverty and low-performing schools would be eliminated, as would programs to educate Native Alaskans and Hawaiians. So here they're going after African-American families, as well as, again, Native people, right? So again, you're going after communities that are in the minority and are the most vulnerable. Now, Trump's budget also would reduce funding for the SNAP program, commonly known as food stamps. An estimated 23.4 million households would lose SNAP benefits if the president's budget were fully enacted, with the average household losing about $600 per year. Children represent nearly half of all food stamp recipients. So, we're going to take your health care, we're going to mess up your education, and we're going to take your food stamps. Vote Republican. Because we are so pro-life, we care so much about the children. Under current law, spending on children's programs would already face significant cuts over the next decade. When paired with Trump's proposed budget, school improvement programs would be cut by 74%. Funding for children's nutritional programs would be cut by 20%, and Medicaid spending on children would be cut by 12%. Food, education, healthcare, forget about it. We have to make profitable corporations, the most profitable corporations on earth, even more profitable. These are Republican priorities. They do not care about being pro-child, they do not care about being pro-family, and they certainly are not pro-life. Cutting these programs, it's not pro-family. How about Republicans come out and admit that they don't care about your kids unless they're rich, unless it's their kids. That's what we care about. That's why they want to cut the estate tax, by the way. If you're born rich, you already get to inherit millions of dollars tax-free. But if you're born poor, sad day for you. We're going to cut your Medicaid, we're going to cut your food stamps and make it harder for you to get an education because we do not give a shit about you. We do not care. We only care about zygotes. But actually not really, because we only want to ban abortion because we want to control women's bodies. In fact, Paul Ryan says you should have more babies, even if you can't afford them. More babies, more babies. Let's have more white babies. These Republican politicians are disgusting. They don't serve anybody but their donors. And it doesn't matter how much they fuck you in the end because, again, they don't care. Doesn't matter to them. If you're poor and you vote for Republicans, this is what you're voting for. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.